Hello everyone, I'm Ethan, and today I'm happy to share with you my solution for the Build Small Hackathon in the Backyard AI track. Today I've built a produce sales tracker. It's for the oldest outdoor produce market in America, specifically for someone named Tran. So I live in Philadelphia here, and I also shop at the market about every week. So let's dig into what the market is. So you may know it from Rocky. If you've ever seen the movie, he's running through all of Philadelphia, and he goes through this one particular place that looks like they're selling a bunch of stuff. And that's actually the 9th Street Italian Market. The movie was actually filmed, I think, in the 70s, and it pretty much looks the same to this day, which is pretty cool. So like I said before, it's the oldest continuously operating market in the United States. Vendors have owned their stalls for generations, and they pass down those stalls to both their children, their employees, everything. And they've been there pretty much ever since. So one of the cool things about this market is that it pretty much never closes. Through rain, snow, heat, everything. That's why they have these awnings here that you can see. The awnings keep the sun, the rain, all of that stuff off of the vendors and their produce as they sell it. Because it's one of the unique places in Philadelphia where the produce is actually on the streets. No cars are parked there. It's actually just produce stalls. So one of the particular vendors that we're going to highlight today is named Tran. So she's been operating on the market for about 40 years. Tran moved to Philadelphia after the Vietnam War from Vietnam and has been operating her produce stand ever since. It was one of the few jobs that she could do here in the U.S. and also make money to support her and her family. Tran speaks Vietnamese, but she also has employees that speak Spanish, and also her customers speak English. So here's a video kind of showing what it can look like at the market when a customer comes there to buy the produce. So you can see that Tran is picking the vegetables up, she's putting them in bags, she's talking to the customer, she's calculating everything in her head. So there are a lot of things going on at once, and you'll notice particularly that her hands are not free. They are constantly doing something and cannot work on a system such as a sales system. So that kind of like exemplifies the manual process, right? A customer will hand over a basket of produce. Tran will look at all those items, add up all the prices in her head, figure out all the quantities. Sometimes she'll use a calculator, although most of the time she'll just kind of calculate everything in her head, and then she'll bag those items and then hand them back to the customer. So there's really no record or no data that you can look at to understand, what was sold last Tuesday over the entire week, the month, the year, everything pretty much. So, that got me to thinking, like, what if tracking sales was completely hands-free? The market is a lively place, it's dynamic, it's noisy, things are constantly moving, it's fast-paced, etc. So it really needs to be something that is seamless. So that's the solution that I've created. It's a speak in order, and we'll handle the rest pretty much. It transcribes speeches on device. There's no cloud API necessary. It works in 3 different languages, Vietnamese, Spanish, and English. It'll parse all the items and then map those items to their prices, and then the vendor confirms them. And then it creates a dashboard pretty much where business vendors can look at all their sales, all their items, see which ones are selling the best. We'll look at that a little bit later, or right after this slide actually. So here's pretty much a hypothetical situation. A customer will walk up with this basket. They might have 5 apples, 3 tomatoes, 2 onions. Normally there's no receipt or no record, just Tran doing mental math. She'll have the final total. Sometimes it'll be in a credit card machine. Most of the time, customer will just hand cash to her. So pretty much it'll just vacate. But with this new system, Tran speaks once. She will say those items in her native language. 5 apples, 3 tomatoes, 2 onions. She can say it in Vietnamese. The system will then parse that all out. It'll detect that she said 5 apples, 3 tomatoes, 2 onions. It'll match those items to the prices and then do the final addition and everything. And Tran will review it once. If it's correct, she'll confirm it. If not, she can change the quantities, she can add new items, everything like that. And it's 1 click. So basically, all she will ever need is 2 clicks. And as those transactions or sales are cataloged, it goes into the dashboard through the database. and she can see pretty much all the best-selling items and all the revenues over days, pretty much an entire business sales dashboard that can be useful really for a small business. So the bigger picture of this is pretty exciting because, like we said before, a lot of the transactions that Tran does are with cash. So that leaves pretty much no paper trail, which means that if she wanted to create pro formas or ask for loans or grants or anything like that, she really doesn't have much data to work with that she's been collecting over the years. So what we believe this can do is really provide a paper trail that she can use in order to create these estimations to apply for loans. And she can also use the data because she's been working on it in this industry for 40 years. She obviously knows the best-selling items, seasonality, all of that stuff. But what this data can really provide is a supplement to all of that knowledge, almost the stuff that she innately knows can also now be proven with the data. So she can know which fruits to sell during which times, see different trends over time, see slow periods, etc., etc. So pretty exciting stuff. So under the hood, the architecture, it's 2.1 billion parameters total, which is pretty exciting. It's very small. There's no need for there's no need for APIs really. It can work on pretty much any system, although it's pretty slow. But as soon as we fine tune it and make it a little faster, or we can use, Modal GPUs, etc. But really, it's small enough where it theoretically can work on not even the most advanced CPU. So under the hood, we're using Nemotron ASR for the voice transcription. It's their 0.6 billion parameter model. And it works with a lot of languages, which makes it convenient for Spanish, Vietnamese, and English. And then in order to parse that information and also to translate it into English, if it's Vietnamese or Spanish, we use Qwen 2.5, and that's the 1.5 billion parameter model, which is really useful because Qwen is naturally multilingual because it's a Chinese model. So in China, they're sourcing a lot of different types of languages and stuff. And then Python pretty much takes that parsed information, puts it into the database, adds all the totals, etc. And then there's a database. Currently it's SQLite, but later on we'll make it on the server just so the data is preserved and all of that. So yeah, currently the latency per order, or the amount of time that it takes to parse, is about 5 seconds, which is pretty good. If we use the most advanced servers, it'll be faster, but on a simple GPU system, we detect about 5 seconds. So these are kind of the badges that I'm hoping to kind of qualify for with this system. You can look at the README to kind of see all of that information and why I believe that. But hoping that all of these are within the frame of reference for this project. So, and these are just kind of a couple of improvements that I hope to do later on after the project is done. So we can do fine tuning, we could add different weather APIs to the dashboard. Generally the dashboard can just be a lot better, but for now I think it's a good first step to just kind of prove out the concept, especially for this hackathon. So yeah, now after that, with that, we can jump into the live demo. Here we have the live demo. So we're going to hit record, 5 apples, 4 potatoes, 3 onions. We're going to stop the recording, let it parse. As soon as it completes, it'll show 5 apples, 4 potatoes, and 3 onions, exactly like we said. So if we want to add more, we can go in here, say bananas. We can add the quantity, we can lower it. We can also add more potatoes, decrease it, then add more bananas. We confirm the order, and then as soon as we refresh it, we go back to the dashboard. You can see that transaction there. We scroll down, we can see all the different items, all the best sellers, and also the revenues over time. We can also go into the catalog and add new items such as mangoes. We'll say how much they cost, the unit, and then we can also change the price because this is a produce market and produce is constantly changing. So that's the demo. Thanks for watching.